Welcome, Earthlings! From the minds of Dylan Oltoft and Rob McNabb, we bring you Laughing on a Prayer!
Robert, you have dishonored my family name. We now must engage in combat to decide the fate of the realms.
Would this combat potentially be mortal in nature?
Yes, we now must engage in Mortal Kombat! Fight! Rob.
Yes.
I know Kung Fu.
Ah, well, do you want to know something interesting? I don't.
Well then, I guess we should podcast instead.
Yeah, that sounds a lot less painful. Well, for us, maybe not so much for the people listening, but that's their problem.
I was trying to think of a John Wick quote there, and I'm like, I actually can't think of a quote from John Wick. Oh no, my dog's dead.
Yeah, that's the exact line, actually.
Yeah.
And he says it that exact same way. Oh no, my dog's dead.
Woke up and all that. I was like, and Keanu Reeves didn't even say it dramatically. He was like, oh no, my dog is dead.
It just sounds like something Tommy was. Oh, my dog is dead.
Tommy was doing a deep fake of John Wick. Oh. It's like, I will not sell you my car. I will not. Oh, hi, doggy.
It's like, you know when he's in the first film when the whatever gangsters come to his come to kill him the second time, and the policeman turns up and be like, "Oh, hi, John. Oh, hi, Jimmy. How's your sex life?"
Yosef, your son killed my dog. We now have to kill each other, motherfucker.
Yeah, what are you chicken?
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to the next episode of Laughing on a Prayer. You introduce us.
My name is
Yosef Mengele.
Please, Yosef Mengele was my grandfather. I am Rob McNabb, and sitting, doesn't matter to the left or to the right of me, but sitting to the left of me is Dylan Oltoft.
You're really sitting, given we're naked?
We are technically sitting.
No, I suppose that's true. Yes.
Yeah.
You really should start putting covers down on the chairs, you know.
I should, but you know what? I'm gonna wait. That's gonna be my New Year's resolution. I'm gonna wait.
I just want to keep the canon going that we record these naked.
You mean keep the tradition going?
Yes, of course. We have established canon as well, though.
Canon implies that it's a story.
Tradition
is real.
I say this is an ongoing series about the bleakness of humanity.
Yeah.
The fact that we still have it going in the first place.
The fact that we started it in the first place.
Believe it or not, we are actually kept quite busy outside of these goddamn podcasts. It's amazing with all the other shit we do outside of here that we still keep this going.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with our, Hitman service.
I don't think we ever mentioned it or something, but we passed the year mark not too long ago, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. We, I guess episode 52 would have been it, because we've uploaded one, I think, every week for
just about
52 weeks, believe it or not. So that's how long a year is. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone in between, we are progressive. I
thought you were about to say, you've been listening to. That's the shit you say at the end.
You've been listening to.
You do get certain 4-minute podcasts. I've listened to a few of them. It's little updates. A guy states one opinion and he says, okay, that's it for now, guys. We're out.
Yeah, well,
mini-sodes, I think they call them.
It might be okay for them to last 4 minutes, but not for us. We are hour-long and sometimes even longer podlasters.
At this moment, we're still in the foreplay and not gotten to the meat of it yet.
Yeah, exactly. The foreplay, the 4-minute play. That's what that stands for.
Well, you've introduced us, so I guess today we are going to be talking about one of the greatest visual mediums that is in cinematic history, and that is fighting! fighting.
Yes.
But not just any kind of fighting. We know there are many, many, many types of combat all throughout cinematic history. However, me and Rob are going to be focusing mainly on one of the more beloved and niche forms of entertainment in cinematic media, and that is martial arts. Me and Rob, I've watched all kinds of martial arts movies, all the way back to the earliest Bruce Lee movies, and even the Eastern cinematic films of that sort of niche, to a lot of the Western modern ones, like
Rush Hour.
That's a Jackie Chan film. That's not a Chris Tucker film.
No. Is there really a film that has been called a Chris Tucker film?
Sadly, yes.
Is it? What is it?
Fun fact: do you remember in that movie? There's that moment when Jackie Chan actually says the N-word because he's actually.
Oh yeah, he does.
And there was actually a small movement of people that actually got really offended, like, "Oh my god!" And you know what's hilarious?
What?
Tons of black people actually came out and told them to shut the fuck up and said, like, "We found it funny. Stop being offended for us. It was really funny." And it was because. The thing is, what happened the second Jackie Chan said that? He got thrown over a pool table for it.
Yeah, and also I think they probably missed the joke, the fact that he doesn't understand like why that word is really bad, but he just hears Chris Tucker says it, and in an effort to try and be sort of what he thinks is like socially normal, he says it.
Yeah.
And not only that, he says it twice to the guy looking him in the face.
So a bunch
and,
of
that's the joke. It's not him actually being racist.
But that's the thing. A bunch of woke people were just pissed off that he just said it regardless of the context. And what I loved is the fact that a bunch of black people.
You mean that context matters in this day and age? I'm offended, sir. I disapprove.
Well, that's what pissed me off when people when all this was happening, people were like getting pissed off at Robert Downey Jr. for wearing blackface in Tropic Thunder, when the whole point of that was every other character in the movie was calling his character racist for doing that. The black character himself was like, yeah, because that's how we talk, isn't it? Like, everyone was treating him like a racist idiot.
What do you mean, you people?
They weren't applauding him and saying, yeah, that's really authentic. But anyway.
And once again, in both those instances, the character is unaware of what they're doing is horrible. Anyway.
There have been a lot of interesting interpretations regarding martial arts movies in both Eastern and Western cinema. We quoted it ourselves, martial arts used in Western cinema, like The Matrix. We mentioned John Wick before, both Keanu Reeves movies.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of other movies as well that I'm sure we'll get through ourselves. Let's start it off right from the hitch. I don't care if we start Eastern or Western. Rob, what is your favourite martial arts movie?
Shrek. No. My one is, my favourite martial arts movie is The Raid, the first one.
Oh, I just came.
Yeah.
And it's frothing.
Yeah, I know. I can
look at that frothing.
What's that? It implies that it's like
heated.
Yeah.
Wait, I think it is anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, but like it implies that it's
ladies.
Like,
let us know in the comments below.
It's implied that it's heated like beyond like sort of boiling point,
and it's also so pungent that there's enough of it to froth. Like when you getting a latte, you have to heat the milk, and there has to be enough milk for it to froth.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, and it's not even like November yet.
We get so distracted so easily.
Yeah, what are we doing?
The Raid. Why is it amazing, Rob? Quick lowdown for anyone that hasn't seen it. What is The Raid?
Right, The Raid is a very inspired name about a police raid on this tower block full of, like gangster criminals. Yeah, that's I don't.
As opposed to the gangster volunteers.
Yeah. I don't think I can like really. That's the long and short of it, really, isn't it?
And what happens in the film?
And what happens in the film? Well, the SWAT team, which is based around Stu and his SWAT team, go in, and there's a lot of gunfights, and there's a lot of like really intense.
You should have written the narration for the trailer.
Yeah. I should have said it in that exact way instead of having like an epic voice. Like, just me going, and then there's lots of shooting and lots of fighting.
Quick thing, if memory serves, isn't The Raid Korean? I
believe it is Korean. Yeah, I think it is Korean. But what I liked about it is that it's the choreographed fight scenes are generally like they're quite long shots in it. Like I think it's very easy to do like sort of like quick cuts to make stuff look, you know, like
Western cinema's really bad for that.
Yeah, whereas like this, like it's almost like sort of watching like a stage fight. And stuff like that, and it's like in enclosed, and it's very relentless film. Like it's like it goes sort of from 0 to 100 in the first kind of 5 minutes, and then it stays at 100 up till the end, pretty much. And it's just one of those films. It's like it's really like big, and it's kind of over the top at points, but you know, good like fun film. I remember watching it, I was like, oh, you know what, I really like this like this.
Did you ever watch the
really
sequel?
The Raid 2? No, I did a bit.
I think it's still pretty good.
I watched like half of it, but I was like a little bit drunk during it, and I sort of like kind of.
My brother doesn't like it just because at the beginning it starts off with the guy's brother getting executed.
Why doesn't he like it from that?
I don't know, because he's a brother as well, so that's why he doesn't like the end of like Casino and all that sort of thing, because Joe Pesci has to watch his brother murdered.
Oh yeah, Casino, Joe Pesci.
That is some hard shit to watch. But yeah, no, don't get me wrong. This I have to do this, but it's going to sound so douchey. As a martial artist myself, fuck yeah, bro. Ugh. I have no authority over martial arts. Quick rundown. I have been studying martial arts for close to over 10 years. I have studied Muay Thai kickboxing, mixed martial arts, which includes judo, jiu-jitsu, and wrestling. I have also studied boxing and even ninjutsu. Just saying that before I talk a bunch of shit about things.
Well, yeah, it's better. I think it's better to say that you have got experience rather than saying I've got no experience, but I'm going to tell like with the utmost authority.
I just always I just never want to come off as like, yeah, how fucking cool am I? I never want to sound like that. I am no authority on anything. I'm just talking from perspective on my experience.
Well, yeah, but I think that's better though than like having no experience and speaking with the utmost authority on stuff you know nothing about.
Douchebags that talk about the Conor McGregor fights, who bought a tap-out shirt earlier that day, and that's their entire experience in mixed martial arts, where they're yelling about John Jones saying, "No, man, you should have sweeped his leg." It's like, fucking hell.
Yeah, it's like
couldn't even tell you what a double leg takedown is.
Yeah, it's like watching like serial killers documentary. It's like, oh, and they left a strand of hair behind. I'm just like, you fucking idiots. Amateur.
I think like what was it called, like armchair general sort of judging is like, oh no, I should have never done that.
Should have never done that. Yeah, but at least like
it's like the Olympics, like people that weigh 20 stone watching the gymnastics. He missed the second hurdle there. Yeah. You fuck.
They do hurdles in gymnastics.
I don't know.
Yeah, like, oh, this guy fucking sucks at I don't know.
Why not? Let's start combining stuff. The dolly horse straight into the hurdles. They do shit like that, don't they? They will combine shit.
Yeah, they do like triathlon and shit.
That's it, like where you do like cross country, like skiing, and at the same time, like while you're skiing, you got to do the shooting. And then try and get a high score in Pac-Man or something like that.
Yeah, it's skiing and shooting, isn't it? Because like Top Gear did that, but except with cars and shooting. Yeah, they did like a Winter Olympics thing, so they were like racing cars, and then they had to shoot targets and shit.
You know what? Here's a new drinking game. Every time me and Rob get off topic, take a shot.
You will not survive.
I can't imagine anyone's watching this thinking, for God's sakes, I really wanted them to hear an in-depth analysis on fucking why are you on this video then? There are actual experts, aren't they? Like martial artists that watch martial arts movies and talk about it. Like, go, what they call like GQ and all that. Go watch them. Oh, no. We're dipshits.
You read the disclaimer at the beginning of this video. You knew what you were signing up for.
But like I said before, as a martial artist, something like The Raid is actually incredibly realistic in terms of... Because what I like especially is that the movie opens with the main character. His morning routine is going through an intense physical practicing regime. Like he's doing his exercising, he's hitting the bag and all that sort of thing. And that's genuinely what you have to do every single day sort of thing. And that's why his body is so fluid and so motion. Usually you get a lot of movies like Hollywood stars where they're just do perfects. It's sort of like they look like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and yet they've never exercised a day in their life, and they're just sort of like, you're not really able to make that sort of fluid motion without having your joints and tendons stretched and trained for that movement. And the way, the speed and ferocity, that's not even necessarily the technicality is what I'm talking about here, the techniques or the moves themselves. The speed and the flexibility of the way they're delivered. You can tell actual martial artists are the ones performing the moves, and not just actors hired to look like martial artists. That's why, for example, Keanu Reeves is praised so much for his
gunfighting
and his combat, because he went through rigorous training to actually know to do it properly and not just look like he's doing it. I think that's overall what I'm saying.
Yeah, everyone's seen that video now of Keanu Reeves at the range doing, his sort of... Like, everyone's seen that.
And that's the difference between that sort... And when you watch, for example, if you had a side-by-side of some generic sort of, like, action movie next to that, you see the subtle little differences, the more practical and fluid movements of someone that knows what they're doing and someone that's acting like they know what they're doing.
Do you know there's a thing in John Wick 2 when he has the Benelli M4 shotgun? The director actually told him to load it slower because... he was so quick that they weren't getting the camera shots.
Oh, shit.
So he was like, mate, like, this is really impressive, but you're doing it, like, too quick.
Could they stuck a GoPro on him? Like a POV sort of thing?
That would have been cool. But it was like
a few POV moments would be kind of cool. I wonder, though, people would be like, oh, that's so video gamey.
Yeah, maybe they would have done. I would have kind of liked it, though. Oh, mate, I'd watch that. 100%.
They actually did make one years ago.
Did they? No way.
With Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
It was shit. How have I not heard of that?
It was shit. That's why you haven't heard of it. It tanked incredibly. The BFG doesn't even kill anything with it. It's used to make you're not even fighting demons. You're fighting like zombies on a space station.
Isn't the whole point of Doom that you're fighting demons though? Isn't that like the whole point of the game?
It's the point of the game. Also, the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is not Doomslayer. The film is just him as part of like a SWAT team that's been brought in to investigate a lab that's gone wrong, and you're just fighting zombies.
That just sounds like they sort of made like a zombie film in space and then decided to call it Doom.
That's the perfect description, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
It's
you
shit.
played the 2016
Don't ever watch
Doom.
it. Yes! And I played Doom Eternal.
Oh, I haven't played Doom Eternal, but the 2016, I remember I remember playing that game for the first time, and I was just like, oh my fucking god, this is
It's like your dick drank a Red Bull. It's just like the put that on the box.
Like the music and fucking like you can't standing still will always get you killed. You have to carry on moving like the whole time.
And there's not like shitty Call of Duty. There's no like hiding behind a wall to reload. No reloading. It's just constant.
Yeah, there's no hiding. Oh, it's good. Anyway. What are we doing?
We're talking about, for example, John Wick, and I was expressing how, for example, in a lot of Eastern Asian films, it's a weird sort of thing. It's sort of like in the Michael Bay movie, rather than having astronauts learn to drill, they have drill people learn to astronaut. They have martial artists act, rather than having actors pretend to be martial artists.
Yeah.
Again, we were talking about Jackie Chan earlier, sort of thing. Like, he used to do so many of his own stunts because he was in his youth an accomplished martial artist. And interestingly enough, in a lot of old cinema, Asian cinema, I don't know if they still do this now, so don't quote me on that, but there used to be a thing whereas if they didn't use your footage, you didn't get paid for the work.
Yeah.
So if you were actually doing a martial arts movie, you had to be fucking amazing.
Yeah, and I remember Jackie Chan saying that he so many times he hurt himself, like often quite badly, but then he would have to do like 3 or 4 takes. He said he cracked his ribs like leaping off a balcony, but then had to then do the shot like 3 more times with like cracked ribs, and then he went to hospital because China and their sort of, because like just Chinese cinema is just like fucking nuts. They're like, no, film first, hospital later.
That's an amazing story, but that's awful.
Yeah, that's so bad. I'm like amazed that he's still like in the shape that he's in.
I can't remember the last movie he's done. He was in that crappy Karate Kid remake.
Oh yeah, with Jaden Smith.
The last time he seemed cohesive. I don't know what he is now.
I don't even know what.
He left acting and became a Twitter person.
He became a Twitter person, yeah.
That's the best description.
That's an apt description, actually.
That's what I can think of.
He left acting and became a Twitter person. Despite the fact that he's got sort of more than ample opportunity than anyone to be in the acting industry.
Is his daughter still making music? I remember Willow Smith used to make music.
She did the Whip My Hair Back and Forth song.
Yeah, probably her only hit.
I don't know, but I honestly don't know about the Smith children. I only know about Will Smith.
What's with you, Will Smith? Why you got to name your children after you? You're not George Foreman.
Or at least it's not like whatever.
At least George had an
Musk's-
excuse, you know. He got knocked out, woke up, named all his children George.
Yeah.
What's your excuse, Will? Willow.
Yeah, Willow is like, okay. That's also just like a...
You think she eats too much baked beans? There's wind in the willow. Anyway, I'm
That's
sorry.
so fucking bad.
I know.
I laughed way too much at that. I'm still laughing about it.
20 minutes in, no one's listening.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Smart choice.
Oh, by the way, we didacted. Take another shot. Anyway, yes.
Well, if you insist.
Let's talk about a lot of. Okay, firstly, let's give a lot of more Asian cinema a bit more of a hand job. Let's firstly talk about one interesting fact: Bruce Lee movies.
Oh
now,
yes.
Bruce Lee sadly died.
Sadly,
way
sorry. I'm sorry. That was so bad. Sadly.
Yeah, sadly, it was awesome.
Yeah, no, sadly.
Oh, sadly. That took me more. Well, I'm sure Brandon Lee was upset. Who played the Crow and died during the making of that film.
Yeah, he did. He got shot.
Hmm.
I mean, I've no idea how that happened.
Probably,
No,
hopefully accidentally.
I mean, I imagine it was accidental, but I've like the chances of that happening, I imagine, are just like so minuscule that there's no way it could have like.
To be
well,
fair,
there is actually.
At least he died making a great film.
Yeah, he
I
did.
love The Crow.
Although
The sequels suck ass.
Actually, no. To be fair, it could have been prevented. But anyway, that's another story for another time, or maybe it's not. Anyway,
Bruce Lee sadly died way too young. I think that was his girlfriend. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh God. Oh dear. Oh dear.
We're getting cancelled. I like how we start the podcast talking about whiny SJWs taking race out of context, and then I just go on to make a bunch of insensitive, shitty jokes. Again, no one's listening.
It's okay. We drew attention to the fact that they're insensitive, so it makes it all right.
Meta racism.
Yeah.
Figure that one out, Tumblr.
Breaking.
Wait, is Tumblr still around? They killed themselves with porn or something, didn't
Yeah,
they?
I think OnlyFans is about to kill itself as well.
Oh, yeah. Let us know in the comments if you have an OnlyFans so we can laugh at you.
Or a Lonely Man's or whatever. Yeah, Bruce Lee. A
Put our
legend.
podcast on OnlyFans. Title it, Two Guys Fuck Themselves Raw.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
And the thing is, we probably get some patrons.
I mean, it's the internet.
Yeah,
It's the
people have.
internet.
Yes, Bruce Lee, who actually was already.
Actually, sorry. I'm going to stop
We'll
doing
get through it. We'll
Yeah.
power through. He
Yeah.
was very famous in Asia as an actor in lots of media before a lot of his movies actually reached Western cinemas, and he became quite an icon across the sea. He was well known in Asia and was more than happy to keep acting over there because apparently. There obviously, it goes without saying, America had some race issues with the Asian community.
Yeah, and again, like even in Western, like Quentin Tarantino in Kill Bill pays homage to Bruce Lee with, the bride's yellow and black stripe.
Oh, I thought you were going to mention the
suit.
fact that she used the 1-inch punch to get out of the coffin,
Oh yeah, well,
which Bruce Lee, coined.
yeah, I was also talking about the costume.
Oh, okay. Yes, yeah, of course. He also.
The costume.
She also used Bruce Lee's famous 1-inch punch to get out the coffin.
Yeah, that's a good film. I need to rewatch that film.
Which, believe it or not, again...
That's also a martial arts film, I guess, as well, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that in a sec. But that goes back into wacky, the more wackier martial arts film.
Let's start from like the sort of the source and then spread.
In my head, I tried to make that sexual and I failed.
Well,
spread sauce. There's something there. Use the blocks, Dylan.
Well, I said spread, and then I was going to say our wings, but then I forgot.
Our cheeks.
Yeah,
Spread our cheeks.
Spread our cheeks.
That'll be the title of our podcast, OnlyFans.
Spread our cheeks. And every episode is episode 34.
In
or
a way,
69.
that is what making people smile does. It spreads their cheeks. Comedians around the world making people spread their cheeks.
I feel like if I ever get a chance to have the role as the Joker, I'm going to put that in the film. Spread your cheeks.
And not in the way Harley wants.
Yeah. Or maybe I will. I don't know.
Okay, Mr. J. She bends over and sputs her eyes out. No, Harley, I meant the face cheeks. You dumb whore.
I'm going to be that
sort of geriatric Joker here. Harley. Oh, we should talk about Batman martial arts at some point.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, the martial arts using it. Anyway, no. We're talking about Bruce Lee and how fucking awesome he is. Yes, Bruce Lee was obviously an incredible martial artist and is actually known as the grandfather of mixed martial arts because he was one of the first martial artists to advocate the indoctrination of other martial arts. Because before then, it was actually incredibly segregated. Martial arts communities were intensely segregated.
I've got a cool. You finish your thing. Afterwards, I got a cool story about a guy that also did that sort of thing.
Yeah, Bruce Lee was one of the first people to advocate for martial artists trading their techniques and all that, just for the sake of becoming better fighters, and not just fighting and combat itself, but also mixing with ideologies and wisdom and influences. Like Bruce Lee is, a lot of people would say, is actually more known for his martial arts sayings than his actual martial arts prowess. Because obviously Bruce Lee is famously said, do not beware the man that knows 1,000 punches, beware the man that's practiced one punch 1,000 times.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true.
Absolutely, and again...
With like anything, really, like, practice makes perfect.
Like I said, the guy that, on the opening of the raid, like, that's how a martial artist starts every single day. They go through the exact same techniques. People who...
Muscle memory.
Yeah, people that are, like, people who reach black belt and then past that, the dans in karate, start their morning doing every single kata. I have a lot to say about certain modern incarnations of karate, and let's not even get into Aikido. Fucking hell, Aikido. Alex,
for those of you who know about Aikido, I'm sure that you probably agree. I know nothing. I'm Jon Snow at the moment.
I'll explain that another time. But sadly, there's a Western action star that apparently made Aikido look badass when it's incredibly impractical. What's his name? That big fat asshole.
Big fat asshole in a Western country. There's a couple.
You tell your story. I'll need a moment to remember it.
A dude called Zhu Xiaodong, who was a Chinaman who...
Apologies if we butcher any names.
I believe it's pronounced Zhu Xiaodong. Okay. But he was a Chinaman who, again... in a time where, mixed martial arts was, like, very, like, frowned upon. And so, like, you couldn't, like, mix, like, disciplines and stuff like that. And he heartily kind of disagreed with this. And it was also a time of kind of elitism as well. So there were lots of people that were seen as, like, was it Kung Fu, I think? Yeah, I think it was Kung Fu. These Kung Fu masters were... sort of like, it was quite elite and stuff like that.
Steven Seagal!
Oh, Steven Seagal.
That fucking dipshit. Carry on.
Anyway, he basically, he didn't really understand, like, sort of why, and he was a really good, like, fighter, but then he started calling out, like, Kung Fu masters, saying, like, I will, like, fight you and I'll beat you to prove that, like, this is kind of, like, all crap. And he did. And, like, so loads of Kung Fu masters, like, try to fight him, and he would just beat them, like...
Anyone listening
really,
to this,
really
please do not fuck with Kung Fu masters.
Yeah, but, like, at the time, like, these Kung Fu masters were kind of, like, people that kind of talked a lot, but never actually did it. And he used to call them out. And he would beat them, like, really quickly and really easily, to the point where, like, the Chinese government, like, got involved and saying, you're causing, like, discourse within our country and shit.
What's that? The Chinese government was meddling?
Yeah, I know. It's fucking nuts. But yeah, this guy called Zhu Xiaodong, who became... there was a... Like, he even had to, like, apologise at one point. He did a fight where he clearly beat this supposed Kung Fu master. It was televised and everything. But then the judges said, no, actually, you didn't beat him. And then the government made him apologise to the Kung Fu master for saying that he beat him.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fucking like nuts. But yeah, no, sorry, that's just my sort of little bit on like the
interesting you say that.
elitism that was going on. That again, he was like very much an advocate for like mixed martial arts and.
Yeah, Bruce Lee was again very similar
Yeah.
sort of thing, and
he was definitely Bruce Lee. He said like Bruce Lee was like sort of one of his like sort of guys that he sort of liked a lot.
I'd say you'd rarely find an accomplished martial artist that would not regard Bruce Lee with admiration, even if they'd never studied any of his teachings and all that. He just sort of has an assumed respect in the legitimate martial arts community. I say legitimate because there are plenty of martial arts dude bros out there that are absolute tools.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of. I think it's probably quite different, like because sort of like Eastern and Western culture is very different, and
You don't say.
I feel like definitely because like martial arts, as we're kind of like talking about, is in quite a lot of Western cinema now. It's definitely gonna like Westerners are gonna put their own sort of spin on something, aren't they?
Interestingly enough, there's been certain martial arts that has actually, for example, years ago there was a martial artist who was really accomplished in Japan. He had he had actually coined a martial arts called it wasn't called Barai Cho, it was called Baratsu. I think it was called Baratsu. Basically, it was a form of martial arts that incorporated like Japanese martial arts, but he came to England. And at that time, I believe it was in maybe 1910 or 1920, when bare knuckle boxing had become more popularized. And he actually incorporated, because again, Western people weren't just hitting each other with their slapping hands. We did have our own forms of self-defense and martial arts. And this Japanese person took Japanese martial arts and infused it with a lot of British forms of martial arts as well, like bare knuckle boxing and all that, and incorporated a lot of techniques from that into that. So there's a lot of interesting new martial arts that were created, infusing East and West.
Yeah.
Baratsu, I believe it was called, or Qigong.
There's also
so many.
I think it's called. Oh God, how do you pronounce? Shillelagh.
May I?
Shillelagh.
Oh, I'm not familiar.
Shillelagh, which is a British martial art in Victorian times of fighting with a walking stick.
Oh, the cane, yes!
Yeah, so like if you were like attacked in the street with your walking stick, you could then fight. Like, there was a martial art of fighting with your walking stick, which is the most British thing I think I've ever heard of. It's like, we'll teach you this martial art, but with a walking stick.
Sounds like something you imagine Watson from Sherlock Holmes and all that being like a master of sort of thing.
I just thought that was quite fun.
But actually, in a lot of really early martial arts, you don't see it now because everyone's got gloves on and all that, but a lot of victories in a lot of early martial arts was actually coined from your fingers. Because the hands are, let's be fair here, delicate and brittle as fuck. They are riddled with nerves and they can easily cramp, and as you know, so certain fights could easily be decided if someone managed to lock your index finger and twist it in a certain way, you'd be screwed. You'd be screaming in pain and you would tap out.
And also, what's like one of our biggest tools are our hands. Like, we can use our hands for like really intricate, delicate things, but also you ball them into a fist and you've essentially kind of got like not a club, but like something that is like hard that you can hurt someone with. And so like our hands are like because like, especially like back in like olden times, like if you had a broken finger, that's you're in real like serious like trouble.
Yeah.
Aren't you? And I think that's what martial arts was originally sort of like invented for, is like self-defense, wasn't it?
Entirely, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, for people that anyone could do as well, so it was, so like if say you were like a peasant and you couldn't like afford a weapon or anything like that, so you just have yourself.
Well, that is why ninjutsu itself was originally constructed. A lot of ninjutsu weapons resemble farming equipment because it was meant for villagers and village people to fend off samurai, warlords that would come around, sort of thing. Like the rope darts, the sais themselves were created to snap katanas and all that. And again, ninjutsu, because of armor and all that sort of thing, was meant for like quick and easy. Because samurai themselves, they had many martial arts themselves. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but they had at least.
I mean,
three.
samurai was like it was a lifestyle. It wasn't just like sort of thing that you
literally
did.
Spartans, professional warriors, sort of thing.
Yeah.
They were retained by lords to be bodyguards and the like,
and
vassals,
and also terrorize peasants to a certain extent.
spoils of war.
It's like sorry, it's nothing personal. It's just that you're poor and this guy pays us, so
Yeah, to be honest,
sat on my hands.
samurai governments were very fascist. Anyway, going back to martial arts itself, sort of thing. So a lot of, for example, old Bruce Lee movies, like, have you seen, obviously, one of the most famous ones, Enter the Dragon, when he goes to the island and he fights the man with the claw and all that sort of thing, like, which obviously was inspired Mortal Kombat, goes without saying. Which I personally love. I've watched the old 90s one. Have you watched the newer Mortal Kombat?
I haven't watched any of the Mortal Kombat films.
Any? You haven't watched the old 90s one?
No.
Holy fucking shit. You would love it.
I should probably watch it.
You would actually love the actor that plays Kano in both versions, the old and the new one.
Did we play Mortal Kombat at one point at uni?
Played?
No. Soul Calibur.
Yeah, that was in the house with when we lived with our other roommate and that. I remember beating him at that, and he knew all the special moves, and I just used to jab at him with like small little bits and bobs and beat him that way.
Yeah.
I'd interrupt him starting to do a real big combo, and it would really piss him off.
I remember I had from our cousins, we got a PlayStation 1. I remember having like a Digimon sort of Mortal Kombat-esque game.
Tournament fighter.
Yeah. I think that might have been what it was called.
Those sort of games are called that, like...
is it? Okay, yeah.
Like Tekken and Street Fighter and all that. They're called
like
tournament
you picked
fighters.
your like Digimon, and then like if you got a good enough attacks in, then you would like evolve into the sort of bigger the bigger one. I remember having a lot of fun with that.
You have played the Mortal Kombat games, though.
Oh yeah, I played the Mortal Kombat.
Street
games.
Fighter as well, and that.
Yeah, I played Street Fighter. I might have done like a bit of time. Oh, it was about the time when like I had where I had like friends, because I wasn't really allowed like kind of sort of more adult games when I was a kid, but I had friends that did, and so I played them then.
Same. That was my first introduction to games like GTA and that.
Yeah, GTA as well. I think I probably did.
I really feel like we should be talking about the Matrix or something right now, but we're just not.
We are not. Sorry.
But no, I definitely recommend the Mortal Kombat movies. Again, they're bursting with personality. I'd even recommend the old Street Fighter movie. But yeah, obviously Bruce Lee movies, the Enter the Dragon with the canon. There was even one where he fought the Chuck Norris, who is of course a famous Western. To be fair to him, he was
the most famous Western.
I believe he was a world He was the world karate champion 2 times. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. He was world karate champion 2 times. Obviously, there's an ass load of old Chuck Norris jokes and all that.
Karate's hard because you're not allowed to hit people, are you?
That is a massive problem I spoke about earlier regarding a lot of modern incarnations of karate. I even dated a girl years ago that did the Shotokan style of karate, but their form of sparring was non-contact.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was learning mixed martial arts. I just finished studying Muay Thai kickboxing, and I moved on to mixed martial arts to expand my thing. And I heard they were doing non-contact sparring, and it just pissed me off.
You got to think though, but potentially like that's a good way to, because like they're all disciplines. So in a way, like being capable of not hitting something with like a massive amount of momentum behind it is in itself like kind of a discipline.
It's incredibly unpractical. For example,
but like you could do it if you wanted to, but like the discipline of itself of not hitting something.
But like we were talking about earlier, muscle memory. You train yourself not to hit someone long enough, and all you're really doing is exotic dancing.
Yeah, but potentially like maybe
which is why I don't like katas either.
Maybe if your life was actually in danger, you would just throw it. Like the survival instinct, you'd probably just throw out the window and just schwack someone.
Well, for example, during the time of recording, recently had finished an Olympics where actually I know
not me and Dylan personally, just to clarify.
We were not competing. I watched a few events. Did you?
I watched Tom Daly doing the diving. And that was it.
Britain only ever gets gold in water sports, so that's the one which British people only ever watch. But
Yeah.
there was someone in the karate, and they were doing the karate. Basically, someone's opponent had knocked him out with an incredibly amazing high kick and all that.
No, I also watched the women's jiu-jitsu.
That's hot.
That's the grappling one, isn't it?
Jiu-jitsu?
Lots of floor work.
That's judo.
Oh, it might have been judo then. And I had no fucking clue what was going on. It was Japan against Ukraine. And, like, for the longest time, like...
Did they have rather baggy gis on?
Yeah, they had, like, sort of white robes and headgear.
Yeah.
And I thought... for the longest... Did they? Or maybe they didn't. I don't know. But for the longest time, like, the Ukrainian girl was, like, basically, like, on top, like, sat on top of the Japanese girl. But then the Japanese girl somehow won. I was like, what? How? Like, I was fucking lost, mate. like, I was like, oh my god, like, this Japanese girl is, like, taking a fucking pounding. But then it was like, oh no, it's not that. It was like, what? She looked like she was winning. Like, she was winning, I swear. Like, I don't know.
Well, like in Olympic boxing...
I don't know what the rules are.
Certain points are awarded for technique and this and that. But anyway, as I was saying, someone took a devastating knockout, kick to the head, and was knocked out. And that person that knocked him out lost out on the gold medal because like we said earlier, in karate in the Olympics, you're not allowed to knock out your opponent.
Yeah.
So the guy that was knocked unconscious won the gold medal.
I guess that's the game, though, isn't it?
Imagine is that a deserved gold medal? Imagine waking up after being knocked out and heard, by the way, you got the gold medal for karate. Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, like, you wouldn't be going, like, skeet shooting and you schwack, like, two of your opponents. Oh, yeah, the thing is, though, I shot them both. But no, I lost because...
I'm actually surprised you don't watch the shooting in the Olympics. I imagine that'd be something you'd enjoy.
No, it makes me feel bad about my own shooting.
The Americans always get the gold, though. That's just because they turn away from the target and aim towards the audience.
They had, like, an army... I think they had, like, a Marine lieutenant who did really well in the skeet shooting, which are, like, tiny little, clay pigeon that are going incredibly fast.
Well, it is the Olympics.
Yeah.
They can't be launching frisbees.
And then they've got, they've got, like, pistol shooting, all these tricked out little .22 caliber pistols. I'm, like, a kind of history guy, so I like cool guns, but those guns just look like they have no personality whatsoever. They're literally there just to, like, shoot, and I don't find that hugely interesting.
You prefer an event where everyone could bring their own guns?
I would prefer an event maybe there's a historical event like musket shooting. I'd fucking watch that.
Yeah, but muskets were known to take off people's thumbs and shit.
Well, yeah, but I fucking only if you use them wrong. But if there was musket shooting, I'd 100% watch that. That would be fucking sick.
Well, just go to one of those old gun reenactments. I'm sure you'll see.
Yeah, but they're firing blanks and stuff like that. Like actual target shoot with a musket. I feel that'd be so sick. Do that, Olympics. They're definitely not listening to this, but do that.
Yeah, you limp dicks, Olympics.
Yeah, exactly. It's not not a martial art, but it's an art for people that can't do martial arts.
Well, there is a certain martial arts attributed with also using firearms as well, like using the butt
muscle
of your...
memory and shit like that.
Well, just using the butt of your weapon. Like a lot of people call it pistol whipping, but there is a certain martial art to go along with rifles and that.
Bayonet drill, stuff like that.
Anyway, we were talking about Bruce Lee films. Bruce Lee films are amazing. Let's talk a little bit about Western martial arts films. Yeah. I'll start off with The Matrix, obviously.
Of course. We can't. It would be an insult.
I feel a bit too focused stroking Keanu Reeves' shaft because I've quoted John Wick before. But...
I mean, you stroke the shaft, I'll cut the balls.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Obviously, let's start off with the obvious. He does say when he says he's being taught or computed inside his brain, however the fuck it works.
I don't know.
Kung Fu, which obviously is an Asian martial arts sort of thing, but it is a Western film, so I don't know who gets the claim over his character.
Well, I mean... The art is... The martial art is Kung Fu, and he's a Western guy using Kung Fu. I guess if you really wanted to get nitty-picky, which was the film company that budgeted it? In which case...
I don't know.
Was it Warner Brothers? No, it wasn't. I don't know.
What do you mean, the studio?
Yeah, the studio, because that's like a whole thing about whether Harry Potter is British or American. Because there's an argument that people say like, well, Warner Brothers.
Well, it's a British property.
Yeah, but Warner Brothers, like whether it's like the films specifically are British, because like there is a thing about like the rights belong to the company. So like technically,
Well, what was the title of the first film?
well, it's Harry Potter. Well, it depends if you're in America or in Britain.
I don't think that...
Because in Britain, it's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, but Americans thought that kids would think that philosophy sounds boring, so they changed it to the Sorcerer's Stone. That is not a joke. That is a real thing that happened.
Americans are very literal with a lot of their descriptions.
Yeah, so but that was
Sidewalk
the thing, is
and all
that
that.
like I learned about this like in fucking film studies about like sort of intellectual property. It's like you bought the rights to it. If your company's American, then technically it's like it's an American film, even if the source material is from a different country. It's really weird. But to me, Harry Potter is British and always will be because it's all got fucking British actors in it. Fantastic Beasts is... This is not a Harry Potter episode. This is a martial arts episode.
Have we done
Take
that?
another shot. We've got a tangent. Well, I did. But anyway.
So far, I think 10 minutes of this video has actually been talking about martial arts.
Yeah, like the furthest thing from martial arts.
I made a big deal about talking about my experience. I feel I should be talking more about technical prowess.
I'll tell
Okay,
you what.
I'll quickly say this
Do
about
it.
The Matrix. Obviously, Matrix pays homage to a lot of classic martial arts movies in a lot of their exaggerated ways, similar to Kill Bill in a way, like how someone's able to do like flying kicks for like 7 seconds straight. Like there's a term for it, like wire sort of martial arts that is incredibly homaged for an exorbitantly amount of Asian kung fu cinema.
Even Shrek, I think, parodies that flying kick thing.
Oh, Matrix has been parodied for the last 2 decades. Let's not bullshit here. Like,
oh yeah, because it's it's a notable film in history. I've got a question for you.
okay.
Well, technically 2. Well, I've got one question in 2 parts. The first one is, do you have a favourite scene that you, as like an experienced martial artist, really like? And also...
In The Matrix?
No, just in general, in any film.
Oh, fuck my ass.
Do you have and, the second part, do you have a scene that just made you, like, put your head in your hands that was just like, oh, God, that was bad?
Oh, fuck me inside out.
You can do top 3 if you want.
Oh, God, I'm going to use up the rest of the running time. Some of the best martial arts I've ever seen in a movie. Raid is definitely on there as well, but we've already covered that, so I'll just use that.
Like any specific like scene where you're like, oh, that like as a martial artist, you're like, oh, they got that right, and that's cool.
In the raid itself, the fight with his not his brother, where him and his brother were taking on that psychopath, that was incredible amounts of martial arts, because you notice him and his brother. There are certain kinds of martial arts that favour certain parts of their body. Like, a lot of people like to be well-rounded, but there's a reason in mixed martial arts you say, oh, so-and-so's better of a striker, so-and-so is better of a grappler, and so-and-so. For example, some people favour kicks over punches, and other people do the other way around.
A bit like Sun Tzu, the art of war. Avoid what is strong, attack what is weak.
Oh, exactly.
So, like, if someone's really good at punching you, don't get punched by them.
If you know someone's trying to strike, you go for grapples. If you know someone likes to grapple, you go for kicks. If you know someone likes to kick, stay the fuck away from them.
Yeah, what's the thing? It's what's it? If you know the enemy and you know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles.
I want to quickly say, Rob is actually waving his hands around as he's saying that, like fucking Yoda.
Yeah. Know your enemy, you must.
He was a little martial artist himself, jumping around Dooku and that.
What even is Jedi martial arts?
I actually know a lot of the Star Wars extended universe, and I'm actually not sure if there must have been a Jedi martial art.
Yeah, I mean, you would have thought
they're monks.
To like use the Force and shit.
Monks are some of the most accomplished martial arts on the planet.
Yeah, exactly, like D&D. It's the same thing.
No,
Although
generally,
actually-
like Shaolin monks. Do not fuck with a Shaolin monk, ever.
Yeah, because I was gonna. Yeah, definitely not English monks. I don't think they knew fuck all about martial arts because the Vikings put that to the test.
You beat me
It
to it.
didn't
I was
work.
about to reference.
It's like we guard gold and we don't fight people. That really? Oh, lads on tour, Vikings on tour.
Well, to be fair, everybody in the West sort of knew not to fuck with Catholicism, and Vikings hadn't heard about the sort of shit Catholicism had gotten up to.
Yeah, they don't. I think they'd only ever heard. I think they'd heard of like Jesus, but in like a really kind of like Chinese whispers sort of way.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like this guy Jesus. It's like he's sort of like a prophet. Okay, I don't know what that is.
Catholics had
And my
like
axe doesn't care. They have gold.
Catholics had 8 centuries to terrorize all of Europe, so everyone knew not to mess with their churches.
And then the Vikings just ball in. It's like, wait, so you've got all like this expensive stuff and no way to defend yourselves? Well, that sounds like a problem for you.
The monk at the front. Yes, we work on the honor system.
He's like, well, sorry.
Yeah. Well, that's because for so many years the Vikings primarily traded with the East, like Saudi Arabia and the like.
Yeah, which is like a sort of little known thing. They were very much traders and stuff like that. And like raids, like if you went on a Viking raid, it was usually because like generally you were kind of poor and didn't have a choice, and you just needed to go and steal some
Oh yeah, a lot
shit.
of Vikings were farmers.
Yeah, exactly.
They were very economical.
Yeah,
Pretty much farmers. Vikings then were pretty much just like violent Jordan Belforts.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like it's like the question is it's like what would you do if your family was starving? The real question is what wouldn't you do? It's like if my family's starving, fuck yeah, I'm going to go and take a boat, kill a load of people, bring back gold so you guys can live. Like that's definitely what you're going to do.
Well, I'd have a nose in the job centre first, and then I'll do that.
Yeah. In the Viking job centre.
Right, I've lost my job. Time to get a boat and kill some people. Hang on, Dylan.
It's like, do you know how to build a shield wall? Doesn't really matter, mate. They don't. These monks don't have weapons anyway.
It's kind of funny, given a lot of countries in the Netherlands are one of the most prosperous in the world. Like Denmark and Switzerland and Sweden and all that. They have like the highest standard of living in the world.
Yeah, those people don't age either. I think it's because it's really cold and so it preserves them. You know, like putting something in a freezer.
Is that a thing? Do people in hot countries look older than they are?
I don't know. I just made that shit up. I just thought, oh yeah, you put meat in a fridge. And
Hey, put it on Facebook. There'll be legions of Karens that'll believe you. I bet if Gwyneth Paltrow...
And maybe they'll subscribe to this YouTube channel, which you guys should definitely do.
I bet if Gwyneth Paltrow put that on one of her blog sort of thing, you'd get a legion of women tomorrow with their head in the freezer for an hour sort of thing.
Yeah, you couldn't help but notice that Tony Stark died, just after, she turned up. He was probably like, oh, fuck.
Iron Man had managed to survive Ultron and Aliens invasion.
But he couldn't do with goop or whatever the shit is.
4 years of living with Gwyneth Paltrow in the woods finally made him bite the fuck.
Even the lake couldn't save his soul. He was just like, no, mate. Just dipped from life.
So yeah, the way him and his brother fought that psychopath in the raid.
Oh yeah, we're talking about.
I might just have to give one example of each.
No, we can wangle this one out.
Was incredible.
We've got material.
One attention to detail I will notice that many of the strikes they were using were fought with the shin. Now, a lot of people stereotypically believe that you kick with the foot. The problem is, the foot, like the hand, is littered with bones and nerves. You kick someone in the face with your foot, you're going to break 100 bones in your fucking foot. You strike people with your shin, and that was mainly compiled with Muay Thai kickboxing, which, given that's a Korean film, actually makes a lot of sense, because Korea is very close to Thailand, and Thailand is where it's originated, where you actually do hone your shin bones, and that's where leg strikes come from, and you can actually train your shin.
I wonder if the guy, knew... I wonder if they, when they auditioned him, they're we need someone that knows martial arts for the film.
That's what I said earlier.
If,
they were having martial artists be actors, not actors be martial artists.
That's kind of cool.
That's why the raid was so good, because you could tell the people doing that were martial artists. The fluidity in their movements beckons of muscle memory. So that's why that fight combined so much amazing aestheticness, is because it was absolutely integral to the way that martial artists need to apply their knowledge.
You know, it's interesting as well, like you're talking about like having people that are in the profession that then go into, you know, the film. There's a film called Act of Valor. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's a film about Navy SEALs where all the cast are real Navy SEALs. And again, like you can tell, like kind of like there's just something about like the way that they move and the way that they do things. You're like, these aren't actors; these are like actual like military guys. It's just like sort of something to maybe it's a placebo thing, maybe, but like the acting's not hugely great because again, they're not actors; they're Navy SEALs. But like when they're doing like the battle scenes and the combat scenes, like you can.
Well, you could argue at that point, are they even acting?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, like the sort of dialogue is like a bit.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But it's a Tom Clancy.
But that's the thing. Where is the line drawn? If you ask a Navy SEAL to act being a Navy SEAL in a Navy SEAL movie, are they acting?
Yeah, but it's like watching other films, like watching other like war films. Like you can kind of tell it's an actor.
Or like Battleship.
Oh yeah, that one.
Didn't that have, what was her name? Rihanna in it. Rihanna, like the famous singer.
Oh yeah, it did, didn't it? I didn't watch it.
To be fair though, they had.
Oh wait, no, I did.
I think they had like ex-soldiers, like they had an amputee ex-soldier. Yeah. They actually had quite a few people in that.
Yeah, there's another great TV show called Generation Kill, which is about a group of Marines that are invading Iraq, and one of the Marines that was actually there plays himself.
Oh.
And so, like, he was like a military advisor at first, and then he was like, "Fuck it, I'm going to play myself to like make it more real." And he's like, he made everything the way everything was. He was like, "This is what I had. This is what I carried." And like, you can tell the kind of difference between. There's like I can't even put my finger on it, but like, there's a difference between, and I think this is definitely true with the raid. You know, that you can tell the difference between like an actor, like you said, that is, you know, acting because, you know, that's what actors do, and someone that has this discipline that is then sort of on camera. I think it adds just like it's subtle, but it adds like a lot, which I think that's probably what hooked me into the raid, because it wasn't like any sort of martial arts film I'd ever seen before.
To be fair, in that sort of confined space, you don't need incredibly good acting. And there was very few scenes of that needed dramatics. I guess when like the police chief realised he'd been set up and all that, and it turned out no one was coming for them. But there was very few moments that really required acting. Yeah.
But it was
apart from the psychopaths that were the gang bosses.
Yeah, but it was the fight scenes that really like got me into it, because I didn't know. I was like, oh fuck, this actor learned all this, but then I was like, actually. No, the guy probably already knew this.
Yeah.
There are some ones, I think...
there's a medium where that wouldn't work. Like, would you hire a bunch of criminals for a prison movie? Like, I mean, like ex-cons to be in a prison movie, because they know what it's like to be prisoners?
No.
Would that work in every situation?
Probably not every situation, no.
We're making a movie about Epstein. We need a paedophile to be the lead in it.
Who's definitely who hasn't killed himself.
Might have got the internet looking for paedophile actors. We want.
Is this no? That's not how you go about it. You just put up a profile saying that you're like a 13-year-old, and then they'll come flocking in.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, that's what you do, mate. And then you get Chris Hansen to come in. Love bit of TCAP. I love it.
I'm racking my brain now trying to think of a film that was the worst show of martial arts, and I'm honestly struggling to
There is one thing about some martial arts, in fact, kind of fight scenes, sort of fist fight scenes on martial art, is that, you know, it's the kind of, and you kind of have to have it, but like the whole like, one bad guy attacks one at a time.
Oh, one at a time, ISIS
thing.
Yeah.
And have you seen Old Boy?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a bit in Old Boy that was pointed out to me by a friend of mine, which I can now no longer unsee, where it was like a one long shot where he's like, everyone's kind of like attacking one at a time. But then there's a bad guy that literally runs up to him and then just falls over without him even like punching it. Like he's got his back to him.
Yeah.
And he runs up to him with like a wooden club and then just falls over as if he's been knocked down.
Oh,
and you're just like, you know, because again, like, you know, like film and reality is very different. Like you could be like the greatest martial artist in the world, but like if just 3 dudes like piled in on you at once, you know, the chance of you winning that are probably kind of small, aren't they?
There are similar things with like, for example, in Star Wars, what was it, the second of the new quills? What's that fucking called? The Last Jedi. Yeah. I watched a video of a choreographer talking about the scene when Rey and Kylo Ren were fighting the Red Guard after killing Snoke, and they were talking constantly how bad it was. Like he mentioned how the actors have missed their marks so many times, like, and certain things, like certain people reacting like they were shaking their arms sort of thing, but they couldn't actually make a move on the thing because they killed the main characters.
Yeah, you'd think like you'd rehearse shit.
I don't know how it was and how many takes you're allowed to do. Like, maybe they did 20 rehearsals and that really was the best they could do.
Oh, God, that's quite depressing.
But then there are other things. For example, we mentioned this earlier and we just hit over an hour, so I want to mention it now. In Batman versus Superman, if you're going to do a fight when someone's taking on multiple people at once, the warehouse scene in Batman v Superman...
That was my favourite scene.
That is how you do someone fighting multiple people. I even had a moment when there were like 3 guys on him at once, and he's like sourcing them all out. Oh,
yeah, and
that's how you do.
That's good. Like you gotta like yeah. I think. Oh, first of all, I love that scene as well because like whenever I think of Batman, that's what I think Batman should be: is fighting people in the shadows, doing tactics, and you know using his equipment to his advantage.
He blew out the floor, went up to the rafters, took out their guns, and then went down to fuck them.
That is like the complete like epitome of what I think Batman is. Not like a Dark Knight Rises where he's fighting people in midday out in the street. But anyway, I think the like that's good because it takes out the just one bad guy after another thing. Because like in reality, like if I was in a group of like 3 people or even like 2, and I was going to attack someone, I'd attack at the same time. I wouldn't wait for my friend to get beaten up and then I do it. I'd attack at the same time.
As someone that, again, has been trained in to engage multiple targets, again, it is never ideal. And firstly, you will never be able to do it flawlessly. You will have to take certain strikes. The idea is to get as many people as you can on the floor and then try and work it one person at a time. Say you've got 3 people in front of you. You may have to take a punch in the face just so you can get one person on the ground to sweep leg another person and then deal with a third. You may have to throat punch somebody. Basically, you need to incapacitate as many people as you can as quick as you can. Because 3 people, if they all grab you at the same time, you kind of are fucked. You really need to be sneaky and underhanded.
And also, like, just any idiot can get lucky as well.
Yeah, very
You
true.
know, like you can be really well trained, but just some mong that just happens to get... It's Murphy's Law, isn't it? You know, it's like, you know, shit like can go wrong, I guess.
Absolutely.
So, you know.
Oh yeah, in martial arts, nothing is ever guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, like, it's horrible history, like stupid deaths. It's like just some guy that just
next
happened.
time it's not you.
Yeah,
Sorry,
just, like,
played in my head.
Yeah, just like I don't know, like saying like you're getting mugged, just some idiot with a knife could like stab you. And like maybe they just got lucky and that's it.
Well, that's the thing. That's what they're joking. Like, what was it? I Raided the Lost Ark. There was this guy that was a maverick with a sword and just got shot.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Probably spent years of his life being a master of a blade, and then just, you get shot. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Life
and again,
sucks.
it's like Indiana Jones. I don't think would have won that fight if he didn't have a game. And also, the reason why that scene happened is because Harrison Ford was really ill. They were going to have a big fight, but he just was just completely out of it, and so they just changed it.
He's one of the few actors that could pull that sort of power. So many studios would be like, "I don't give a shit if you're ill, do it."
Again, he was Han Solo at the time. So,
even when he was Han Solo, he apparently edited so many of his lines as Han Solo. Harrison Ford took the script and was like, no, I'm going to say that instead sort of thing.
That's
like,
the I love you, I know thing. It was supposed to be I love you too, but he was like, no, Han Solo wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Like, he's not...
He made
he's
the
not
character his own.
available.
As opposed to Christian... in the prequels,
Hayden
Christensen and Natalie Portman, who obviously might have not had as much courage to stand up to Lucas. So they actually go with the lines, "I truly, deeply love you." Oh, fuck. Quick shout out to the choreography in the fucking Revenge of the Sith with Anakin
Ray Park, mate. Oh,
not even Ray Park. I mean, Anakin and Obi-Wan, like Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen and Revenge of the Sith. Fuck you if you could say that's not an amazing.
And of course, John Williams with the music.
God,
I mean that music is just it's so good. It's so good. He went hard on that score. And he scored high. I've got a question.
All right, we'll have to make this the last.
Yeah,
I never gave my shittest martial arts film. What's your question?
Do you want? That was my question.
I'm still thinking. What's your question?
No, that was my question.
Oh, that's your question.
What's your shittest martial arts film?
Oh fuck! This is so hot.
Or like a couple of moments where you've like been watching martial arts and knowing what you know, you've just gone, "Oh, fuck off," or something like that. like
mainly like some of the worst superhero films. For example, like obviously, obviously you know the Schumacher Batman and Robin films, like and in Batman Forever and all that sort of thing. There are certain films I've seen. I'm trying to think of like non-obscure ones and all that.
Oh no, it could be obscure. Like, just tell me like what happened. The point where you were just like, "Oh, fuck no!" Someone like no, because I think it's definitely. I kind of like stuff because like I'm sort of like into guns and stuff. So like, I mean, I'm the worst to watch like any sort of gun shit with at all. Like, I'll point out like, "Oh no, that firing pin is wrong." And that wouldn't have fired.
Oh yeah, didn't that bother you in like 1918 or something?
1917, yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, there was a firing pin.
You said it to your partner.
I literally said it in the cinema. I was like, that is not the right firing.
How do you notice something so small?
Because I'm fucking awful and
annoying.
Was it
curvature or
annoying that? No, it was the wrong shape. It was the wrong shape for the time.
That made a big difference.
It did to me, all right? Shut up.
I mean, on as well to the weapon itself, does it make a big difference?
To me, it did. Again, I'm the worst fucking person. No, anyway, yeah, no, but like, was there like a point where you were just like, "Oh, fuck this film, god damn it, I hate."
Quite a few, but a lot of them were intentionally being bad, and I'm trying to think of one that thought it was doing really good. And was absolutely failing mercilessly. I'm trying to think of like a lot of modern like action films that tried to have fight scenes that just sucked absolute balls.
What about like the Rush Hour films? Like
again, Jackie Chan was
like
brilliant.
Jackie Chan is great, isn't he? But like are those sort of serviceable, I guess, for you?
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah. I do like the Rush Hour.
I've only remember Chris Tucker getting his ass handed to him.
That makes sense as well because he doesn't know martial arts, so he's fighting like people that do.
Yeah, that was again part of the culture.
I can imagine that I would definitely be like just fucked up if I was against any sort of martial artist person.
Depends on circumstance, really, sort of thing. If you can just pick up a weapon, but
if like I was put in a ring with like someone that knew, I reckon I'd be down. I'd be dead in like a second or two.
A ring, you might be all right. An octagon, you'd be fucked.
But even just like one-on-one, like if someone said, "Hey, this person knows martial arts. You want to try and fight them?" I'd be like, "Well, it depends. Will they kill me quickly?"
I ran you through that crash course. Do you not remember any of it?
Yeah, no, I do. But I don't think it would like work in like a real like fight.
I'll get you back to
for me.
I'll get you back to the gym with me then. We'll fix that.
Oh, I don't want that.
No.
Mate, I was so clearly the newbie in that fucking gym. Everyone else is like wearing tank tops and stacks, and I'm just like,
I wasn't.
What?
I mean, I was in a full sleeve sort of thing. I wasn't in a douchey gym bro tank top.
But you're like muscular. And I'm like fucking not that.
Guys, give Rob credit. He went through an entire workout with me, although apparently he didn't let me know that it was too much for him. Went home and
I didn't want to be a bitch. I was like, I didn't want to be a bitch. I went home and was sick. I was really sore afterwards. Oh, yeah.
Honestly, a lot of modern films, I genuinely don't see that many of them try and attempt martial arts if they don't know what they're doing. Other than superhero films, I can't remember and even in superhero films, obviously because they got superpowers, like, apart from like Captain America and Bucky stuff, and even then, their fighting combat's pretty good.
What would you call their fighting combat? Like, would you call that? Is that like mixed martial arts?
Oh no, not at all.
No, or
although
is that,
the character,
a particular style.
Although to be fair, the character of Captain America himself actually does know tons of, like Batman, does know tons of martial arts.
Punisher.
Ooh, actually, a lot of Frank Castle's stuff is incredibly good. Brutal. I'd say a lot of Punisher martial arts is very symbolic of Krav Maga, and that is a very intense...
So that's an Israeli...
Yes, it is.
Israeli martial art, isn't it?
Surprised you knew that.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I know it from Archer.
Oh yeah, Cyril's like, I'm going to learn karate. Oh, the Dane cook of...
Yeah. He used Krav Maga.
Which again, I would more say is Aikido, which is an absolute worthless martial art.
Do you know much about Krav Maga? What sort of...
Oh yes, actually. To be honest, I've been looking to add that to my arsenal. I would love to study. I've learned a little bit of it. Krav Maga is incredibly fast paced. It's pretty much like if you merged jiu-jitsu with fuck you.
Because it's like Mossad use like Krav Maga, don't they? Israeli special forces.
It's meant to deal with the most intense sort of open street fighting fuckery.
Yeah, it's like violence of action. Like you got to be quick.
Yeah,
and shit like that.
Basically, the way Bane fought in the ending fight of Dark Knight Rises was very Krav Maga. When he's absolutely wailing about, like punching through like cinder walls, that was very Krav Maga.
It's almost
absolutely overwhelming, overpowering, and devastating.
Ironically, or not ironic? Yeah, ironically, maybe you could.
Wait, I think the character Bane was Middle Eastern, I believe.
No one really knows.
Wasn't that prison he came from in the Middle East?
Was it? It was in a desert.
Oh, am I being racist?
In a hole.
I hope I'm not.
It was in Arizona. But like, sort of, maybe ironically, it's kind of similar to like, the fact that it's Israeli, but it's kind of similar to like Blitzkrieg. It's just like fast and speed. Like, win the fight, overwhelm your enemy.
There's a Russian martial art that is incredibly amazing.
Oh, I imagine that's probably violent as shit. Russians are just built
It's a knife sort of martial art. It's Russian themed. It's taught to their special forces like KGB and all that.
Oh, not their school children as well?
Probably.
Russian school kids apparently can like fucking strip and like clean an AK. Like rifle.
Well, if Britain hadn't scrapped national service, we'd be able to as well.
To be fair, I could do it to a GP or like a SA80 platform thing.
I was about to say, leave doctors alone. Rob.
I can strip and clean a GP. Again, like sort of muscle memory, I can still like do it because when I was in like cadets, we had a dude who was like parachute regiment and shit, and like he like obviously like when you like shoot, because I was on the shooting team, you had to learn how to strip and clean your GP rifle, which is essentially it's the SA80, which the British use, but it's semi-automatic only. And you could do that, but then he taught us how to do it like blindfolded, and I could do it like I could strip it blindfolded. And I reckon if I got my hands on one, which I never will again, I guess, because you can't shoot if you're a civilian. But I reckon I still remember it because I did it for like hours and shit like that.
I remember I was taken through a crash course of disassembling an SA-80, but I probably wouldn't remember the technicalities of it now. That was years ago.
Oh, no, I remember because I did it because you're like on the shooting team. So like you have to know how to like clean your rifle because like when you're on a shooting team, you're given a rifle, you sight it in so you know where your sights are because you have to shoot like accurately. Obviously, so like you spend like all your time with it, and it's like you learn how to strip and clean it because you got to clean it after shooting.
Yeah, of course,
and all that stuff. And like he made us do it for like hours and hours and hours. And I felt like everyone fucking hated him for it. But the thing is, he was like he was a para. He'd been to Iraq, been to Afghanistan. Exactly. And he's an absolute nutcase.
I would sooner lunge at the Queen than piss off a para.
I feel like I'd rather lunge at the Queen because
I don't know, the Palace
Grenadier
Guard quite elite?
No, it's the Grenadier Guards that guard the Queen. I feel like the Grenadier Guards would kill me quickly. I feel like the Para would kill me slowly. So
What was like SAS grade brutality?
I mean, they're sort of close. I mean, they're sort of close. Like Para's just hard, man.
I mean, the SAS look at war crimes and giggle.
I mean, no one knows about the SAS as well.
Exactly.
It's fucking like it's like I believe it's like a 95% dropout rate for their training. It's something nuts because it's just so fucking mad.
Well,
Anyway,
like the Foreign Legion.
yeah, something like that. Foreign legions are like basically like the it's like you can be from anywhere. You can join. It's kind of like the Night's Watch. It's
You
like,
get in
no matter
there,
what
they
you
give
do-
you like a new passport and everything,
Yeah,
don't you?
exactly.
The French Foreign Legion.
Yes. I reckon that's probably where George R. R. Martin maybe got the idea from the Night's Watch or something like that. It's like you can have whatever pass you want, but once you join, you're like,
I don't know, conscripting
Whatever.
from like prisons and like,
that's probably
things and all that. I feel that's probably more commonplace. Like,
not.
imagine
for
if you
fun,
were in
but-
prison. Say, for example, at current time of recording, R. Kelly has just been found guilty. If
Yes, he has. Thank fuck. How long did that fucking shit take?
Imagine if someone came to me in prison right now and said, "Hey, you can either sit in the cell or you can go to the front lines on the army." I imagine he might take that. Like, okay, do I want to be in the cell or risk my life?
Also, I want to let you know that all the people you'll be around will not only be over the age of consent, but also men.
I don't know,
Take
he's
that
kind
for
of a
what you
big
will.
guy. I don't know if he'll be that weak in...
Oh, I don't know. I reckon, like, if you found that you had like a rapist in your unit, you'd probably.
Well,
fucked up.
don't they segregate the child diddlers?
Yeah, they do in prison.
Do they do it in American prisons? I know they do that over
Oh
here.
no, they do it in American prisons as well.
God damn.
I think that's the thing though, is like people like to think that it's oh yeah, if you're a rapist in prison you get shanked. It's like no you don't. You get
Also,
prison
how do you imagine other prisoners would find out? It's not like they read your prison file over the tannoy. If you don't tell anyone what you're in for, or just lie about it, how will they ever know?
I guess they like work shit out, don't they? Like if you said that
You smell like a rapist.
it's like oh yeah, I'm in like prison for like 20 years. Oh, what'd you do? Oh, I robbed a shop. You're getting 20 years for robbing a shop.
Well, you just say you killed your wife or something.
What's that Frankie Boy joke? It's like, well, you see, Your Honour, he does look a bit rapey.
No, that was Mock the Week, yeah. It was Frankie
Yeah, it
Boyle.
was Frankie Boy, wasn't it?
Yeah, things you wouldn't hear in a courtroom. There is no evidence, but it does look a bit rapey. It's so sad how well I fucking remember that shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to get too late here now, so we better wrap it up. I imagine we got through about 5 minutes of actual
we
talk
didn't
about our
even fucking
subject.
talk about fucking Kill Bill, did we?
Oh, we
God damn
there was
it.
like 100 things we should have talked about.
God damn it.
Everyone, let us know.
I feel like we should take like a double shot for being on that tangent. I feel like we need to punch
This was
ourselves.
we should just one day do an episode and just call it fuckery, where we just say
Talk about miscellaneous
yeah,
shit.
no topic. We're gonna start off with this, and we'll see where it fucking goes. We'll just call it fuckery.
Or maybe just put like a load of question marks on it.
That might be eye grabbing.
Should we do that? We should do that.
We'll see how it is. Let us know down in the comments if we should do that.
Yeah.
Also, let us know down in the comments your favourite martial arts movies, your favourite martial arts icons. If you're a practicing martial artist, your favourite styles. If you disagree with anything I've said, you're wrong. If you did...
I'm laughing because it's true.
Maybe not. Again, it's very...
Oh, it is.
Well, I know, I like to think I know what I'm talking about. To be honest, the world of martial arts has been evolving for years.
I mean, you certainly know a heck of a lot more what you talk about than I know what. than about this.
But I also know about that there's so much more I don't know. So, if anyone else has anything interesting to say, by all means put it in the comments.
Yeah, and if anyone is a Dan black belt, Dan.
In karate, dans are above black belt, but both work.
Yeah. If by any chance there are some serious martial arts people in there, please don't come and find us, because...
Hey, if you do Aikido, feel free to come and find me. I'll throw you on your ass.
And I demand trial by combat, and I name Dylan my champion.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I try and respect so many martial arts, but Aikido is fucking worthless.
What does that even mean? Like what is Aikido?
Aikido is basically
I'm actually genuinely interested.
Aikido is basically a martial arts. It's incredibly impractical. Again, you watch Steven Seagal films, you think about it. It's basically using it's the idea of flow control. It's basic, and that's the term. It's basically using your own
flow control.
Yeah, it's using your opponent's momentum.
Sounds like a urinalysis problem.
It's the art of using your opponent's own momentum and their own weight and speed against them. So,
like in Thunderbirds. Have you not seen the Thunderbirds film?
I'm familiar with the puppety fuckery.
Oh. No, they made like a live-action Thunderbirds film where there is literally a line about using your opponent's strength against them.
Your opponent's strength against them is different. That can be used in judo. Aikido is basically, I throw a punch at you. You, halfway through my punch, grab my forearm, and because I'm still going towards you, you use that momentum and speed to turn the fist back on myself.
That's not how physics works.
It's for example, two opponents are coming at you, both with their fist raised, so you use their arms that they were using to make them punch each other.
Yeah, that's not how physics works, though, is it? It's like every action has an opposite reaction. Right?
It can work, but it's not practical. If you try to use Aikido on an actual martial artist, your attempts to use their own speed and momentum against them, they'll just pull back.
Yeah, why don't I just...
They will get out of any grips, locks, grapples, anything. It's fucking worthless. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, not sorry. Fucking hell.
No, that does even sound dumb to me. Like trying to stop someone before they've done something.
It's like again. It sounds better when you say out loud. Oh, so you're turning the. It sounds good to someone that knows nothing about martial arts.
To quote,
wow. So if someone throws a punch at me, I can make them punch themselves with their own punch.
I think to quote the former president of the United States, "Sounds good, doesn't work."
Yeah, Aikido is literally the fake news of martial arts.
Only on this podcast could things that Donald Trump has said make sense.
You see what you've done, Aikido?
Yeah,
you made Donald Trump right. That's on you.
Yeah. I don't think we can end this after that. Other than get banned on Twitter.
Again,
oh wait, I'm not on Twitter.
An hour and 20 minutes in, you think anyone's here?
I hope for their own sanity they're not.
I would honestly do that. I'd never.
Maybe Aikido practices, but
yes, all four of you, if you're listening.
Steven Seagal's listening to this. Oh my god!
No.
I loved you in South Park.
He's clamouring another giant tray of Krispy Kreme donuts, you... I don't even want to make fun of his weight that much because I don't get into fat shaming. Like, I don't give a shit what anyone else weighs. I just want to hurt you personally, and I know I can use that.
I don't care about your physical appearance, but emotionally I want to cripple you.
And I know that's an easy thing to draw reference on. Like, if you have a favourite dead cat, tell me and I'll use that against you instead of your weight.
I feel though like
I don't want a fat shame. Give me something personal.
But like mate, like he could go into sumo wrestling. That's kind of a martial art.
Oh,
right? Maybe.
No, sumo wrestlers are fucking brick tanks.
Yeah, no, but it's sort of a martial art though.
Oh, absolutely. Sumo is an incredibly effective martial art.
Yeah, it's
sumo wrestling will fuck you up.
Again, it's like size matters.
Genuinely. No, but sumo wrestlers literally have the strongest legs in the world. They would be the most successful rapists.
Yeah, because it's all about like pushing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pushing people
to do what they don't want to do.
It's all from the legs. These people are like
don't rape with your back, rape with your legs.
Sumo wrestlers' legs, I'm again not even messing around, like the size of this fucking table. Genuinely, I would... If I was in a small ring and I had to fight a sumo wrestler, the only way I would win is because a lot of sumo fights, interestingly enough...
Kick him in the balls.
No.
Why not?
Thank you, fat bastard from Austin Powers.
No, but kick him in the balls. That will incapacitate a man for a fair amount of time.
Maybe, or it'll piss him off.
I mean, I have kicked you in the balls, like, once.
Yeah, and I was pissed off. Sadly, I couldn't kill you on stage.
Yeah.
Technically, that's a martial art. Rob is proficient in stage combat, so that's something.
That is not a martial art. Well, it's sort of... I'm basically a karate expert, because I'm not allowed to actually hit people. Yeah, fuck you guys. But then I accidentally do, and I get disqualified.
I don't like to bash karate that much, only a lot of modern incarnations, because there are actually a lot of karate masters that are actual fucking brick shit
To be fair, I would not try and mug a karate ice, because I reckon they could fuck me up if they wanted to.
There are still a lot of purist, traditional karate practitioners that, like, again, wake up, spend an hour punching sand, get smacked with 2x4s, and that's just their morning conditioning.
I still feel like, though, like, if you were a karate fighter and someone tried to mug you, you would, like, your sort of training wouldn't be so, like, I don't think you would pull back. I think you would just be able to whack someone if you really wanted. I don't think you'd sort of, like, go into a kind of hypnotic state of, I'm not allowed to hit this person. I think you probably would fuck them up.
I just don't like the idea of it just being non-contact. You need to know... There's no point being the greatest martial arts in the world if you've got a glass jaw. The whole point of the body is we adapt. And when you've been punched in the face enough times, you learn to deal with that. If you go through your entire... If you get a black belt and you've never actually been hit in the face, you do not fucking deserve it.
Or I'm getting kicked in the head probably hurts the
shit. You can't just memorise 20 katas and say you're a martial artist. I believe, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends, like, what you want to, like, use it for.
Oh, yeah. The first thing any martial arts teacher will tell you, and it's what I was told myself, if you ever abuse anything I teach you, I will kick your ass.
It's like power. Again, it's sort of like harking back to like firearms, you know, and shooting. It's like if you use them for the wrong reasons, you're a terrible person. It's all about the discipline of using them responsibly and stuff like that.
That's the thing, most legitimate martial artists will never be the ones to start fights because they're taught respect. Again, that's the whole point. Conditioning and discipline and patience actually forges a person's character to be a well-rounded person. No legitimate martial artist is a gobby, fucking insecure, fight-starting douche.
And and usually those people are wormed out.
No. The reason you get people like Conor McGregor and that in UFC, that's because that's partly show business. You have to act like a gobby cunt.
He's a businessman. He's a businessman.
The guy got 80 million for doing that fucking, that Floyd Mayweather fight. Like, this guy is just about the moolah. And fair enough.
Exactly. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
A lot of organised sports is a circus.
I mean, to be fair, if someone offered me 80 million to lose a fight on television, fuck yeah, I'm taking that money. Shut up.
Logan Paul walked into his fight against Floyd Mayweather with a Pokemon card Charizard around his neck in a lanyard.
Yeah. Exactly.
You tell me that organised fighting isn't a circus. I fucking dare you.
And again, Logan Paul, he's fundamentally like a businessman. Isn't he? He knows what sells. He knows how to make money.
Let's not give him too much credit. He's an opportunist.
Oh, yeah.
He's clearly using the clout of his YouTube fame to get into an industry he has no business being in, just out of popularity.
Yeah, and he's getting fucking money for it. I'd do that. I'd fucking do that.
Yeah, but that's the problem. We wouldn't get the money for that because we're nobody. Even me, that might actually have a chance at winning, would be no one's going to pay to see me fight anyone.
Oh, no, but like a publicity stunt that would make us 80 million, I'd fucking do that.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing with sports. You're only paid what you're worth.
Yeah. So we'd probably get 100 quid.
We get 100 quid in a hand job. And the hand job's only...
You say that's a bad thing.
Yeah, but we only get the hand job if we win. You and me...
Yeah, exactly. And so we'll fake it.
You and me could tag team Floyd Mayweather. Actually...
Oh, yeah, no. I will full-on sexually assault Floyd Mayweather for 100 quid.
I'd
do it.
I might have to be outside the ring sort of coaching you like Mickey to Rocky because you're closer to his weight class than I am.
Yeah, no. No, exactly. You beat him up, I rape him.
I'm not allowed to fight him because I'm 2 weight classes above him. Floyd Mayweather is a featherweight champion. I'm close to heavyweight.
Okay, well, I'll emotionally manipulate him to submitting to me in the ring.
That's what I hated most about his fight with Logan Paul, because Logan Paul was a cruiserweight and Floyd Mayweather was 2 weight classes below him. If Logan Paul had called out any other boxer in that weight class, he would have been considered a dipshit bully, because weight classes exist for a reason. You fucking piece of shit.
I mean, what am I? Like, what's the lowest weight class that exists?
Oh, there's one below featherweight, I believe.
Yeah, what is it?
There's like 9 of them. I'm not sure, to be honest.
Well,
there's like many.
Okay, I'm at least one of those.
Hang on a sec. Do you know how many kilograms you weigh? Because I'm like 95. I'm just under heavyweight.
I weigh 10 stone on the dot.
10 stone. What's that in?
I don't know. Go like stone to kilograms.
Hang on a sec. I'm quickly looking up the lowest boxer weight class.
I'll go stone to kilograms. Stone to kg.
Light flyweight.
Light flyweight.
That is the lowest. You have to be 49 kilograms.
I'm 63 kilograms.
Oh, you'd actually qualify for light welterweight. That's 64, but you're closer to that than lightweight.
I'm 63.5.
Yeah, you'd probably be a light welterweight. Like, have a cheeseburger before you fight, you're a light welterweight.
I mean, I was going to do that anyway. Oh, shit, you're not allowed to get drunk before you fight either, are you?
Who said that?
I think the rules, you're not allowed to get drunk.
Like, you can't have, like, testosterone and all that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
but as the old saying goes.
Oh, I'm just about cruiser. Oh wait, no, I think I'm above cruiserweight.
But as the old saying goes, if you can't fight them drunk, don't fight them at all. I don't want to be sober for a fight. Because first of all, I'm going to lose. But second of all, you've got to,
Right, this is some serious wanking on now. Let's bring it to a close.
All right.
Let us know down in the comments at this point. Fucking anything. Just comment anything. Say what you want. I don't give a fuck.
And I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone in between, fuck you, Steven Seagal. And until next time, you've been listening to...
Our accents are sexy.
Laughing on a Prayer.